This is Embrace Your Inner Boldness, a podcast about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. I'm Melissa Henning Frank, coach, guide, and founder of Becoming Bold. I help you strip away the conditioning, reclaim your voice, and rise into the power that's always been yours. Let's get right to it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Recently, I went on a camping trip with my husband and spending far less time on social media and far less time around people, because it was mainly animals and trees and water, really made me notice how relaxing it can be when you're out in nature and not consistently scrolling the internet or worrying about what somebody is going to think or say or do, because you're just out in nature. There's something very calming and cleansing, and there's other ways to think about life when you're slowing it down like that. And then coming back to the world where there's all sorts of opinions on social media and lots of complaining, lots of judgment, lots of disagreements, lots of intolerances for other people that you really don't know anything about, but it's easy to create opinions and judgments on them. So that is what inspired this week's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness, because I want to talk about something that people do that I'm sure you've noticed or that you've experienced yourself, whether you're the one doing it and not aware that's what you're doing, or you're the one noticing how much people do this thing. Our neural pathways are always biased to the negative. We have programming and conditioning. Our brains are always looking for ways to help keep us alive. And so we notice all of the negative things, and sometimes it really goes overboard. So it's the little things we notice that really don't matter. And those things are big, huge energy leaks when it turns into judgment and opinions. It's the stuff that gets under our skin for really no good reason. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and your whole mood shifts. A coworker has that one habit. Maybe it's someone who clicks their pen, or the loud chewing, and the way somebody always shows up 2 minutes late to every meeting, and then it takes up way more mental space than it should. You catch yourself comparing your house, your body, your career, your parenting to somebody else's, and you're constantly quietly deciding you're either winning or losing. Maybe you have an opinion or a judgment about what people are wearing to the grocery store or what they're putting in their cart. It's small stuff that is none of our business at all, really. Minuscule in the grand scheme of things, but it doesn't feel small in the moment. And those things don't stop at just irritations with traffic or somebody clicking their pen. A lot of us have this running commentary going about other people's lives. Judging somebody's clothing choices, deciding that their house is either too much or not enough, or raising an eyebrow at how someone else is raising their kids, or spending their money, or spending their Saturday. A lot of nitpicking about relationships or a coworker's career move, like we've got the whole picture. And here's the part that is a little bit uncomfortable to say out loud, but a lot of that nitpicking isn't really about the other person. It's a distraction. When we're not happy about something in our own life, whether it's our own career, our body, our relationship, our house, our bank account, it's a lot easier to point at somebody else's choices than to deal with our own dissatisfaction. So noticing what's wrong with someone else gives us a quick little hit of feeling better, feeling superior, feeling like we've got it much more figured out than they do. And for a second, it works. And that's why we keep coming back to it. But it's kind of gross if you really look at it. We're using other people's lives as a distraction from our own. And none of these things, the irritations in traffic, the pen clicking, the judging, the comparing, actually matter in the grand scheme of your life. 5 years from now, you're not going to remember the guy who merged without signaling, or the way your coworker just doesn't seem to work as hard as you do. But in the moment, it can wreck your whole freaking afternoon. So what's actually going on? I think when we're consistently irritated by small things, it's rarely about that small thing. It's about control. Life feels big and unpredictable, and a lot of it is out of our hands. So we grab onto the pieces that we can control, or at least the pieces that we can judge and react to. Traffic, a coworker's habits, somebody else's choices, a perfectly mowed lawn. These become places where we get to have an opinion, a reaction, a little burst of, I would never do that, or I have to fix this. It gives us a sense of control in a world that often feels like it has very little to offer us. And I think there's something else underneath it too. When your world gets small, the small things start to feel enormous. So if your days are mostly commute, inbox, errands, and scrolling, then of course the guy in the left lane becomes a main character in your story. There's nothing bigger competing for your attention. There's nothing worse competing for your attention. Your focus naturally expands to fill whatever space you give it. So if you give it a tiny world, then tiny irritations become the whole show. So here's the invitation for today. If you notice that you're constantly crabbing about stuff, that's not something to beat yourself up about, but it is information. It's a sign that your world could use some expanding. And it would be a really good use of your time to get a handle on what you perceive to be bad in your world before something actually bad happens. Because if you're already constantly crabbing about all of these things in your day, how are you going to have the resilience to deal with the things that life brings that are truly the tough stuff? I've got 5 ways that you can get started on shifting your mindset and start noticing and appreciating all the amazing good that actually exists in your life right now. So number 1, get outside more, and I mean really outside. Not a walk while you're on a work call, but actual time where your only job is to notice trees, weather, the sky. Nature has such a way of resizing your problems without you even trying. Go find a park with some grass and some trees. Even better if there's a river or a pond. Water has such a great way of clearing your energy. 2, do something that reminds you how big the world actually is. Read about a different culture. Watch a documentary about the ocean or outer space. Talk to someone who has lived a completely different life than you. It's hard to spiral about a parking spot when you just spent 20 minutes learning about how some people in our world don't even know where their next meal is coming from. 3, volunteer or serve somebody outside of your usual circle. There's nothing like showing up for somebody who's dealing with a genuinely hard thing to recalibrate what counts as a problem in your own life. 4, start a gratitude practice that's specific. Not just, I'm grateful for my family, but that's good too, but get really specific. I'm grateful my coffee was hot this morning. I'm grateful I had a hot shower this morning. I'm grateful for my comfortable bed. When you're specific like that, it trains your brain to notice good things instead of constantly scanning for irritations, which is what it will do by default if you let it. 5, ask yourself when you feel that flash of irritation, what am I actually trying to control right now? Sometimes just naming that out loud takes the charge out of it. You realize you're not actually mad about the person that was walking too slow in the grocery store. You're mad because you feel like nothing in your life is going the way you planned. And that knee-jerk judgment is the one thing that comes easy to all of us. None of this means you'll never get annoyed again. You definitely will. You're human. But when you widen your world, the little things stop having so much power over your day. You get to spend your energy on things that actually matter to you instead of handing it over to a stranger in traffic that you'll never even be able to confront anyway. I'm grateful for you tuning in today and for the chance to think through this stuff out loud with you. If this one resonated, I'd love to hear what you do to keep your world big enough that the little things stay little. So until next time, please be kind to your mind. That's it for today's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. If this stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Screenshot this episode, tag me at Becoming Bold LLC, and share it with someone else who's ready to rise. And hey, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe, rate, and review the show. That's how we spread the boldness and keep this movement growing. Whatever came up for you today, Feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or permission. You are powerful. You are ready. And remember, the only limit to your boldness is the one you set for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep becoming you.